Some dreams are not easy to reach, but do you dare to chase them to the end? Liam Carter had nothing but a dream bigger than his circumstances, bigger than the mockery he endured every day. Since he was a child, he had always looked up at the sky, wondering if one day he could also spread his wings and fly like the Air Force pilots he admired. Liam had nothing but determination and unwavering faith, but sometimes even the strongest dreams need a miracle. A letter. An opportunity. A turning point no one could have predicted. Liam sent out a prayer in the form of a letter, and fate answered him in a way even he could never have imagined. When the seal of the White House appeared on the envelope in his hand, the door to destiny had opened. 15-year-old Liam Carter had always been drawn to the sky. As a child, whenever he heard the sound of an airplane, he would run outside, staring up in amazement. His dream was crystal clear. He wanted to become a pilot in the United States Air Force. But reality was a cruel contrast. Liam Carter had never known a real childhood. His childhood was filled with hunger, with nightmares that never ended, even when his eyes were open. The house he lived in was not a home, it was a cage, a place where curses, punches, and fear filled every day. His father, Robert Carter, was an alcoholic, a man who once had a future but lost himself in drinking, gambling, and worse, he had even gone to prison for assaulting someone in a fight. After his release, he didn't change, he only became worse. Every time he got drunk, he turned into a monster, and Liam and his mother were his primary victims. His mother, Emily Carter, was a small but strong woman. The little money she earned was almost always snatched away by Robert to fuel his addiction. Sometimes, when he had no money, he would ransack the house, smash furniture, and take out his frustration on her. If she refused to hand over the money, a slap, a punch, a long, painful night. And Liam, he could only stand in the corner, clenching his fists, hating himself for being too weak to protect his mother. At school, things were no better. "Hey Carter, is your dad still in jail?" "He's out now, but I heard he's still trash like before." "It won't be long before you turn out just like him." The laughter, the disdainful looks. Liam had no friends. No one wanted to befriend the son of a convict, a boy from a broken home, a kid too poor to even afford a proper lunch. He never fought back, because fighting back meant admitting he was hurt. "What do you think you'll ever do with your life?" one of his classmates sneered. "You're just the son of a prisoner." Liam clenched his fists but said nothing. Every time someone mentioned his father, mentioned the name Robert Carter, he wanted to scream. Every time he thought about it, he hated himself even more. On days when he hid on the rooftop, staring at the white contrails left behind by airplanes in the blue sky, he dreamed of a different life. He wanted to become a US Air Force pilot. But who would ever give the son of a former prisoner that chance? But dreams alone were not enough when reality was so cruel. Liam had no money, no guidance, and no clear path to achieving his dream. He knew that to become a pilot, he needed an opportunity. One night, he decided to take a gamble. An idea sparked in his mind. What if he wrote a letter to the most powerful man in the country and asked for help? The most powerful man in America would probably never read it. But even if there was a 1% chance, he had to try. He sat at his old wooden desk, the dim light flickering above him. With determination, he took out a sheet of paper and wrote, "Dear Mr. President, my name is Liam Carter, and I have a dream. I want to join the United States Air Force, but my family is struggling, and everyone says I will never make it. How can I prove them wrong?" Liam folded the letter, placed it in an envelope, and sent it off. He felt foolish. Days passed, then weeks, and Liam nearly forgot about the letter. Then, one afternoon, his mother burst into the house, breathless. "Liam, you won't believe this," she said excitedly, holding an envelope stamped with the seal of the White House. Liam's heart pounded. Could this be real? Was President Donald Trump really inviting him to the White House? He read the letter once, then twice, then a third time. His mother hugged him tightly. "You're going to Washington, D.C., she whispered. "Your dream is just beginning." A week later, another letter arrived, an official invitation to the White House. Excitement filled the air, but reality quickly followed. "How will we afford this trip?" his mother worried. Liam couldn't let this opportunity slip away. As his story spread through the neighborhood, something incredible happened. The very people who once doubted him now came together to raise money for his travel expenses. Even his school held a fundraiser. For the first time, Liam felt the burden of his dream being shared. The same people who once mocked him were now cheering for him. On the day of departure, Liam didn't look back. He stepped out the door, a ticket to Washington in his hand. As the plane touched down at Washington, D.C. airport, Liam could barely breathe. He was really here. This was no longer a dream. This was reality. White House officials were waiting for him. A well-dressed man in a sharp suit approached, shaking Liam's hand with a look of admiration. "Liam Carter. The president is expecting you." When the grand doors opened, Liam felt his heart nearly stop. The President of the United States was standing there. Donald Trump, the most powerful man in America, looked at him with sharp yet warm eyes. "So you're Liam Carter." Liam swallowed hard, trying to stay calm. "Yes, sir." Trump smiled and shook his hand. A firm, strong handshake. "I read your letter. You have a strong heart." Liam looked into the president's eyes, feeling every word reach deep into his soul. "You want to become an Air Force pilot, don't you?" He nodded. "I'm willing to do anything to prove that I deserve it." Trump was silent for a moment. Then he stepped forward, placing a hand on Liam's shoulder. "You don't need to prove it to me, but you will have to prove it to yourself, and I have an opportunity for you. You will join the U.S. Air Force Academy's summer training program." Liam's heart pounded. This was the first step toward his dream. The moment Liam set foot in the Air Force Academy's training grounds, he felt out of place. The cadets here were strong, disciplined, and came from military families. And him. A poor kid from a neighborhood filled with garbage and violence. The moment he walked onto the training field, whispers surrounded him. "That's him, the kid the president helped. Probably just another privileged case, but he won't last a week." A figure stepped forward, a cadet, a head taller than him, with bulging muscles and cold eyes. "You don't belong here." Liam clenched his fists. He had heard these words too many times before. He didn't need their approval. He would prove himself. One night, after collapsing onto his bed from sheer exhaustion, his phone suddenly rang. "Liam, it's President Trump. How's training going?" Liam bolted upright, stunned. "Sir, it's really hard. Really, really hard." "That's how it should be. If it were easy, anyone could do it." "I won't quit, sir." "I know you won't," Trump responded. "You have something many people don't, a strong heart. Keep moving forward. Make them remember your name." After the call, Liam lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Life had never been easy for Liam. Now, a new nightmare was unfolding. One morning, as Liam was training on the field, an officer approached. "Carter, report to the office immediately." He wiped the sweat off his forehead, his heart pounding. What was going on? A stack of documents lay on the desk in front of him. Personal records. Pages filled with information about the Carter family. A chill ran down his spine as he saw the bolded words at the top. Robert Carter, criminal record, assault charges. Emily Carter, domestic abuse victim. Liam Carter, linked to an assault case at age 14. His heart jumped into his throat. What? Liam had never assaulted anyone. He stared at the words, his blood turning to ice. "This isn't right," he swallowed. "I never." The officer's gaze was stern. "There's a police report stating you attacked a man in a bar last year." a man in a bar. Liam's head spun. No way. He never. But then, a memory flashed in his mind. A night one he had tried to forget. Liam was 14. That night, his mother was being threatened over a debt. A large man stood in front of her, his breath reeking of alcohol. "Pay up, Emily, or you know what'll happen." A fury ignited in Liam's chest. Without thinking, he lunged forward, shoving the man away from his mother. The man stumbled, hitting his head against the table. But his rage only grew. He slapped Liam hard, knocking him to the ground. His mother rushed to intervene, but the man grabbed her by the hair and struck her again. Liam, from behind, grabbed a wooden stick and struck him on the head. Blood trickled from the man's forehead. He collapsed. Liam didn't know if he was dead or alive. His mother screamed, pulling him away. He never knew what happened next. All he remembered was his mother making him swear never to speak of it again. "The police can't find out. If they do, you'll be charged." He had kept that promise. He thought it was over. But now, it had returned. Like a ghost, ready to consume him whole. "I am not an attacker," Liam gritted his teeth. "I was protecting my mother." The officer stared at him. "Do you have any proof?" Liam fell silent. He had nothing. His mother had never called the police. He had no idea who that man was, whether he had come back for revenge. But the man had filed a lawsuit against him. And now, the Air Force Academy was considering expelling him. Liam knew he couldn't just sit and wait. If he got expelled, everything would be over. He called his mother. "Mom, do you remember the man from the bar last year?" Silence on the other end. Then his mother spoke softly. You have to forget about that, Liam." "Mom, I'm about to lose everything." Another long silence. Then she whispered. "His name is Victor Ross." "Who is he?" "A loan shark. He has a criminal record, but he's never been convicted." Liam felt his heart tighten. He was trying to destroy him. Liam couldn't let that happen. He reached out to a journalist who had once written about him. He told her the truth. A week later, the story exploded in the media. Boy invited to the White House now being defamed. Old records of Victor Ross surfaced. He had threatened multiple women but had never been prosecuted. The police launched an investigation, and a few days later, the charges against Liam were dropped. He was cleared. The Air Force Academy allowed him to continue training. Time passed. Then came the ultimate challenge, the Iron Warrior competition. The final test. Cadets had to conquer obstacle courses, shoot with precision, and endure extreme physical and mental stress for over 3 hours. Anyone who gives up is eliminated, the instructor announced. Those who finish will make history. Liam clenched his fists. The whistle blew. The test began. The first few meters were easy. Then, the real challenge started. Climbing rope walls, crawling through the mud under barbed wire, carrying heavy weights on his back, running through brutal terrain. Liam felt his lungs about to burst. Sweat dripped down, his hands were torn open. But he didn't stop. "Make them remember your name." The president's words echoed in his mind. He clenched his jaw. Kept pushing forward. There. One more checkpoint. And another. Cadets began to collapse. Some quit. But Liam didn't. Because he had no other choice. As he entered the final stretch, his legs were numb. Liam threw himself toward the finish line and collapsed to the ground. Then, the whistle blew. He has made it. The entire field erupted in cheers. The ones who doubted him fell silent. Not only had he passed, he had become the top cadet of the training program. The name Liam Carter was announced during the graduation ceremony. As he stepped onto the stage, his instructor looked at him differently than on the first day. A badge of honor was pinned to his chest. Liam took a deep breath. Today he had defeated his fate. No longer a beaten child. No longer the son of a failure. Today he was a warrior. A true man. His mother hugged him tightly after the ceremony, tears falling onto his shoulder. "I'm so proud of you." Liam smiled, feeling a happiness he had never known before. Because tomorrow, he would officially enlist. Liam Carter was not special. He had no privilege, no powerful family name, no path paved in gold. But he had something no one could take from him, an unbreakable will. His story is proof of a simple yet powerful truth. Circumstances don't define you, you define yourself. Liam didn't just fly with the wings of the Air Force. He flew with the power of his dreams and his unshakable spirit. And you, what about you? Will you let your circumstances define you? Or will you rewrite your own story? Let me know in the comments. If this story inspired you, give it a like and don't forget to follow for more incredible stories.